All right. This is taking forever. We're now on Diamond. We did it. Arcing Light. I've said this before on my stream. I think Arcing Light's insane. Reverting 3 cards at quick speed is great. Portal is in the format. Transform is in the format. Like, effects that permanently affect your troops off of, like, Verdict or even just champ powers. Those are things. You could revert Deathcry effects that people have put onto their cards permanently off of them with Arcing Light. Blow out combat tricks. Blow out your opposing combat tricks on your troops. All of these things are doable with Arcing Light. I think Arcing Light is going to be insane. If you hit a portal card, it just vanishes. It kills runes. Runes are still in the format. Like, this does so many things. It has to be good. No. That's an insane thing to say. But I think it's very good. I think you would play this very often in Diamond decks. I think otherwise, it might see play in Rock. I doubt it sees play in actual Constructed because reverting cards isn't really the most relevant thing right now in actual Constructed. So yeah, I mean, it's a sweet card. I think you pick it really highly in Limited. Oh, it also reverts your Frost forms. Another thing that I forgot that it could do. So yeah, it's like a combat trick if there's ever weird buffs, debuffs, and Frost forms on the board too. So yeah, it does a lot of things. I think pick Arcing Light pretty highly. Arctic Grizzly. I see this card and I am very unexcited with this. We actually got a lot worse Frostform cards than we did before. Like, there are some that are very good, but like the low end, the like commons and uncommons that provide our filler are not as good. Like, we don't have Woolly Moa, we don't have the Borean Leopard, like, we don't have Frost Rock. These are not great. Would I ever take this? Probably. Like, it's a fine 3/5 drop. It's not exciting. It does things. It fills the curve. It's not a high pick, but it's not like a bottom pick either. It's a low common pick. But it is not like never play common pick. So yeah, I think it's fine. Next up, we have Aura Eater. Hey look, this incidentally kills constants. You should be playing these cards. This is a 2/2 with a real upside. It has one-shot void target constant. Wow. That is disgusting. There are a lot of constant cards. Runes are still constants. If you see in the picture, it's eating a rune. Like, 100% you're going to play this. This is a middling high pick common. I think the format is aggressive enough that you're going to want to pick 2 drops, and this is one of the best 2 drops that you're going to be picking. It's obviously a lot worse against Deathcry, because they're going to be picking, what is it called? Corpse Lily, and the Corpse Lily is going to eat this for breakfast. But, in value. I mean, but, Aura Eater is going to eat constants for breakfast. So, that's fine too. I think Aura Eater is great. You guys should be picking this pretty highly. You can also revert it with your Arcing Light to eat another constant. Like, yeah. It's a good card. Trust me. In Constructed, in Magic, people have played cards like this before in Constructed, like, just, like, destroying, incidentally, like, artifacts and enchantments in formats that are heavy on artifact and enchantment-based removal, or whatever. I guess in this, it would be only constants. So if there's a lot of constant-based removal, this is, pretty good at, like, being just a value card that you should be playing in your whatever decks that you end up playing. So I actually think that it has a shot at seeing playing Constructed, not even in Rock, in like actual Constructed. In Rock, This is insane against Diamond. Like, their best removal is Decree. Oh, no, 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 no. Great Luke House, you are wrong. That's not the one that I was talking about. I was talking about Felidar Cub. It is a 2-cost 2/2 that says sacrifice it, destroy target enchantment. That saw play in constructed sideboards. This is close to Felidar Cub. It doesn't even have Exalted. This I think could see play in constructed sideboards. But yeah. Up next we have Ballastar. It's like a ball of spears and ballistas. Spears and crossbows. Cool. It has a really strong effect. It's a 4-cost 3/1 Flight Swift Strike that says when it hits your opponent, you put a troop with cost less than this troop's cost from your crypt into play. You even get to choose. So, like, it keeps on recurring back, like, random chumpers or whatever. And you could use this with, like, Deathcry effects and stuff. Also, it also says, if you revert it, it's a 3/6, so it doesn't even die against, like, random dumb things. This card's great. This is a bomb rare, I think, in Limited. It's like Sun Titan, for those of you who play Magic, and Great Luke House mentioned it. It is like Sun Titan. I mean, obviously you don't get the effect initially, and your opponent can, like, chump block to stop you from getting the effect, but yeah, it's like a Sun Titan effect. Those are pretty strong if they go unanswered. So I think it is a bomb, in that bombs are great when they go unanswered. Sometimes bombs are even great when they don't go unanswered, but this is not one of them. Next up we have Brighthammer Adept. It is a momentum card. I hate all of these, especially the low-cost ones that kind of suck. Oh, that's right. Ballastar, I have no clue if it'll see constructed play. Someone mentioned that they could see it with Haraza. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Like, it feels like in the Sockets deck they would want something like this, but, like, it doesn't have a socket. Is there, like, a Haraza Sockets deck that would want something like this? Maybe. That seems strong. Alright, next up is Brighthammer Adept, again. It's a low-cost card with momentum. It has Socketable Miner. I hate all of these cards. Like, the issue with these cards is, if you draw this early and then you, like, continue curving your, like, land drops, like, it's a reasonable card, right? Like, it maybe more than reasonable. It might be, like, a strong card. The problem is, if you top deck this on, like, turn 7, this card is worthless. Like, you don't want this card anymore, because you're gonna play it, and then even if you make your land drop, it's gonna be a 2/2 on turn 7. You don't want that. That's bad. I don't like this card. I don't like any of the other low-cost, low-momentum cards, unless they, like, give you card advantage. Which one of them does. Which we'll get to far later. So yeah, unexciting. Courageous Soul. This is a combat trick that is also unexciting. It's a 1-cost. Target troop gets +1/+1. If you control constant, it gets an additional +1/+1. So, like, you have to be a constants deck for this to actually do what you want it to do, because giving a troop +1/+1 is kind of lame. And then, like, there's another combat trick in this set. I can't remember what it's called. I will look for it soon. Inner Fire, which, for 1 extra resource, gets you guaranteed +2/+2 and life drain. Like, please don't be picking this card. Don't play Courageous Soul. If the format is actually fast enough and you need to be able to, like, 2-spell as hard as possible, maybe you'll play Courageous Soul, because you need to be able to play 1-mana combat tricks versus 2. Otherwise, don't. Dawn Charger, I've talked about this on stream a decent amount before too. Um, it's fun. It's a really sweet card. It essentially reads that it can chump block forever. And is this permanent? It is permanent. All right, maybe it's a lot better then. Like, Bravery wasn't a good card. I think it's only good if you get +2/+2, which means you have to be a Constance deck for this to be actually good. All right. Now that chat has alerted me to the fact that it is permanent. Like, I like it slightly more, but it's really only a constant deck that really wants it. And even if it's not perfect, Inner Fire is a lot stronger because Life Drain is really strong at swinging races and stuff. Dawn Charger, again, there's not that many constants with that many deploy abilities. There's a few. So Dawn Charger doesn't like actually benefit you a ton for bouncing constant. Like, you're not going to get as many of the 1-cost 1/1s that get bigger when you play a constant. So that's not even great. So Dawn Charger, if you are in a Constance deck, is a very cheap 4/4 that may occasionally get you more deploy value on your Constants, but way more likely you get to just play it as a 2-cost 4/4. And it also chump blocks forever as long as they don't have Crush. And it also has some, or yeah, like you get the free chump block value because you just don't bounce a constant and then you get the block and bounce it, unless you do have a constant and you just want to like kill your opponent's thing. So I think it has a wide range of utility. It's just that it's not really enabling anything really amazing or anything. We got Devoted Luminist. Hey, it's a momentum card with Steadfast that is cheap, which means that it's not great unless, you know, you get it early. Who would have figured? I don't like this card. Its momentum number is too small to even be relevant later. Like, if I top deck this and I make it a 3/3 for a turn, whoopee! If I remember correctly, momentum doesn't even last until my opponent's turn, which means that it like blocks as a 2/2, which is garbage. Never will see play in Constructed. Oh, Dawn Charger probably won't see play in Constructed either. And neither will the other cards that I've talked about, except for Ballastar. Like, up to Ballastar. Sorry for not mentioning Constructed. I always forget, because I'm more of a limited player anyways. Dragon Speaker Dahlia. This card is sweet. At the end of your turn, illuminate one. Already exciting. Alright, according to Djo, it does last until the start of my next turn. But then it's like not a good blocker if I like miss a resource ever. That doesn't seem good. Anyways, Dahlia is sweet. Socketable Major is... I don't know what you put in this. You could make it Flight Swift Strike. So a 5-cost 4/5 Flight Swift Strike that at the end of your turn illuminate one. And it has the dragon, yeah, Livanth. This is essentially a mono diamond Livanth. Like, yeah. This is really just a mono diamond Livanth. Like, you don't get the speed, but you still get to illuminate one the turn it comes into play. And you don't get the weird, like, when it takes damage, you make 1,000,000 Candlekin. But instead you get Swift Strike. So this is a mono diamond Livanth. At its, like, minimum. This card's insane! This is a bomb rare! It's very unlikely that doesn't see play in Constructed. Because Livanth is better. And you would just play Livanth. But... I mean, maybe with a different set of sockets, this might... Or with a different tuning on the sockets, this might see Constructed play. But I think it's unlikely. Like, Livanth is already not a great Constructed card. Yeah, DJ was mentioning that rares look a lot better than the legendaries. They do. There are a lot of bomb rares, and most of the legendaries are underwhelming. That we've like talked about so far are kind of underwhelming. Like Eternal Architect sucks, or what's the other blood one? The one that isn't Doomed Guardian. Oh, Voidstar. Voidstar kind of sucks. Like, and this is just much better than those. Like, they might have more unique and splashy effects, but I think the rares are really carrying the set in power level. Next card we have is the Diamond Destiny card. Wow. Wow, this card is so weird. Okay, so this card is 8 cost, target troop gets +5/+5, flight, and invincible. I don't think you play this if it costs 8. Ever. And then it has, while you control 5 or more elementals, this has cost -5 in all zones. Which means if you illuminate 5 times, you can just make one of your Candlekin into a 6/6 flight invincible. That's, like, insane. Like, for 3. Like, that's an acceptable thing. Like, for 3 costs to make my guy +5/+5, flight, and invincible, that's insane. I would play that a lot. Like, obviously, I'm also going to be playing all the Arcing Lights I can get, so who knows if this will be good against me, because I'm going to be reverting things, but, like, this is a huge effect in a format with low amounts of revert. And I'm pretty sure that this format doesn't have very much revert that you're... Oh, no, there's actually a lot. All right, this isn't even good in Limited. In Constructed, you might be able to play it, because there's not that much reverting that goes on in Constructed that isn't, like, removal. But, yeah, maybe not. All right. This card is great. I thought about it. This card is great, but prepare to get punished by reversion. Because there is a decent amount of reversion, like, running around in all sorts of places. Get destroyed by a 2-drop common. Yeah, 100%. This card will get you destroyed by a 2-drop common that people should be playing. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good card. But you're going to get... You gotta steel yourself for getting wrecked. Alright, now we go to Exalted Commander. This is my 3rd favorite of the 3 Exalted cards in this set. Sorry to Hoogland. I don't actually like this card that much. 32-Beat is saying that Enlightened Destiny is bad and you should feel bad. I guess. In Exalted Commander, it's probably a lot sweeter than I think it is. It's a 4-cost 2/2 at its minimum that makes a 2/2 flyer. So it's like fine. Dejo says it's going to be a bomb in PvE. I have no clue what anything is going to do in PvE. I assume everything is good in PvE because PvE is a format that is very close to that. Because you can build around anything, honestly. But yeah, it's fine. It provides a lot of like board pressure if you're in Diamond, but it's not as exciting as the other two. I think this is worse in Constructed than the other two, too. Because, like... This... Oh, Destiny is gonna... Yeah, whatever. That doesn't matter. But yeah. This is fine. I feel bad for Hoogland. I wish his card was slightly better. Honestly, in Limited, this is gonna be a good card. Like, don't count it out. Because Lord effects are very, or like Anthem effects are very strong. And this like Anthem's your entire board, plus you get like a big troop and another troop. This is a very, very strong card. Don't get me wrong. It's just that not exciting. 32-Beat saying that this is a maybe one of an Ardent Aggro. Yeah, Hoogland talked about that too. He said that it's unlikely to displace like the other cards, especially because you have the Kyodal guy that like has a major socket, and then you make like a billion Valors where it's for one of each. Yeah, this does play well in Candlekin. I mean, I think it plays well in anything, honestly. Like it's not a bad card. You just pick it, and then like maybe you want to be Candlekin slightly more than not, but it's still very good even if it's not. Next card, is the escalation card that actually is exciting for limited, unlike some of the other ones that are kind of sucky. Troops you control get +1/+1, gain 1 health for each troop you control, escalate. So the next time you cast it, all your troops get +2/+2, and it also gains you even more life. Like, the life isn't the most important part, but it is tacked on to, like, benefit you even more. This is made for Go Wide. Like, Candlekin love this card. You're just gonna go like, oh, my Candlekin get +1/+1. I don't even need to, like, spend an Illuminate one to, like, make them good. And then you gain health to, like, stabilize you more in races. 32 beat is telling me that I'm a bad Loki. It is basic. You don't want this to be quick. If all your troops permanently got +1/+1 at quick speed, that would be bad. It combos with the other Diamond Escalate card, too, as Luke House says. But I think it's fine. Like, you're just going to play this and Anthem your board. Like, people played Air Evolution and crap to, like, Anthem their board. Obviously, Air Evolution also gives a slightly higher upside of making a troop flying, but this has Escalate. I think it's fine. I think if you play this twice and your board isn't, like, no cards, like, you're not going to lose the game. I think it's sweet. I think it is bomby and limited. In Constructed, you're never going to play this. Don't ever play this in Constructed, please. like, you have better things to do. Like, Illuminate 1 is better than this in Constructed. We've got Guiding Light. Guiding Light sucks. Don't play this ever. Deploy Fate Weave is not a card you want to be playing. When you play a resource, Gain a Life is not a card you want to be playing. Them put together is still not a card you want to be playing. It's a constant. That doesn't matter. It's a bad constant. If making the constants deck requires that you play bad constants like Guiding Light, and this is an uncommon, means you shouldn't be playing the constants deck. Holy crap. This is a bad card. Don't play it. Not even in Constructed. There's no point at which you should be playing this card. Please. Oh god, don't play this card. Alright, up next we have Hyperborean Elementalist. This is a fun card, I guess. It's a 6-cost 4/6, which means it actually, like, stabilizes the board more than that stupid 6-drop in Blood that I was talking about at Common. The 7/4 that has Deathcry Verdict one, Night Warden. And it has small upside. If you control an elemental at the start of your turn and this guy, you make a guidance. Card advantage. I don't know what else to say. It's a fine card as a 6-drop. If you don't want a 6-drop, you're not going to want this card still. Like, even if it said deploy, make a guidance, one-shot, like, you would pick it just as highly as you pick it even now. You only want it if you want a 6-cost 4/6. And if you have elementals, you get slightly more upside. If you don't want a 6-cost 4/6, you're never going to want this card. It's not like the next card. The next card is... Oh, yeah. Also, don't play this in Constructed. Maybe in PvE. Next card is Hyperborean Huntmaster. It's a 4-cost 3/2 quick, and it prevents all damage that would be dealt by other cards this turn. That's sweet. Like, this fogs your opponent's combat, plus it gets to kill any troop with 3 defense or less that's attacking. This is not a bomb rare. This is a good removal spell. That's it. You should play it like a good removal spell. You should play it like a neck snap that, like kills a 3 defense troop that it can block. That's it. That's all that this card does. Don't believe anyone else to say that this will do, like, other special things. You should play it like a neck snap that has slightly more value when your opponent is swinging you for lethal. And you can use it as a, like, fog, too. It's a strong card. It's probably not as strong as some of the better uncommons, but It's still a strong card. If this is in pack 1, pick 1, I'm probably first picking it unless there's an insane uncommon. In the Halls of Twilight. This remains to be seen whether or not this card is good. Again, I am much lower on cards that are bad top decks than most other people. And the problem is that this is a bad top deck. Like, you want to play this on turn 3 if you're not getting pressured at all, which might even still happen, and then slowly, like, use resources to get the verdicts off. Yeah, I don't know. This is an unknown for me. I don't know if this card is going to be good. It could end up being insane, but it could also end up being real bad. And it is a bad top deck. So, I mean, your mileage may vary. We'll find out when we actually get to play with the set whether or not this card is good. And that's when I'll make my decision. In Constructed, it's the exact same. It's probably not good, but it might be okay. Next up, we have Inner Fire. Inner Fire is, I think, one of the most blowout combat tricks in the format as well. Or maybe not. There are a lot of blowout combat tricks. So, whatever. This is another blowout combat trick. +2/+2 in life drain is a huge swing. Like, if you give a 3/3 life drain out of nowhere, like initially a 3/3 +2/+2 in life drain, 1, you probably kill one of their troops. 2, you probably gain 5 life, which, like, swings the race in your favor if you're racing. So, I think this is really good. Unless Mill is racing you, then gaining life doesn't matter. It's still a combat trick. I wouldn't pick it higher than I'd pick combat tricks, which is kinda low. So, like, yeah, it's a good combat trick. That's it. In Constructed, you're never gonna play combat tricks, dude. Maybe you will if they're, like, insanely sweet, but this is not a combat trick that is insanely sweet. Next up, we have Kindle Kit. Kindle Kit is not great, but it is fine. It is a 1-cost 0/1 that illuminates 1. It's really fine if you're, like, going wide, especially if you have the Fortified Charge or Exalted Commander cards that we talked about previously that just, like, make all your troops big. Just having 2 troops, essentially, for 1 resource, kind of slowly, is strong. It is also adorable, as is mentioned. But yeah, like, it's a fine card. It's not great. It's not bad. It might see play in Constructed exclusively because it is 2 bodies for 1 cost. But that's it. You definitely don't want to overload your deck with these cards either, because it is a 1-cost card. It has, like, very low impact, even if you, like, get a lot of them. Like, the Illuminate's nice, and the Illuminate is a scaling impact effect, but, like, the Kindle Kit itself is not, and you should evaluate that, too. It's... You probably want to play it... No. You should play this if you have a go wide deck with, like, payoffs for going wide. But if you don't, then I wouldn't play this. Next up, we have Light of Livanth. This is a terrible card. What? It's 2 cost, illuminate 1. That's not a card that you want to be playing. Gain 3 health. That's not an effect that adds to it that makes it so you want to be playing it. It's also basic, so it's not even good. Like, I don't think you want this card ever. Like, in Limited? No. In Constructed? No way. This card sucks. Yeah. That's honestly all I have to say. Like, Illuminate 1 is fine, but I don't want to pay 2 resources for it and have my Rider be gain 3 health. Like, I want Illuminate 1 to be the Rider on my mediocre-ish card. The problem is 2-cost gain 3 is an awful card. And honestly, the Rider is the gain 3 life and not Illuminate 1. And that's the issue. This is bad. Don't play this unless you have a ton of Illuminate payoffs. In which case, you have my permission to play it, but it still won't be good. Yeah, that's all I have to say, I think, about this one. We have Luxguard. Luxguard is pretty good, I think. We usually already want to play 4-cost 3/2s that, like we'll usually play 4-cost 3/2 flyers. They won't be great or anything, but they have evasion and they're kind of sweet. And the fact that this deploys in verdicts is even sweeter. So I think you'll pick this medium highly. I don't think you'll play it like super highly because it does have 2 defense and there is a lot of removal that will kill a 2 defense troop. And specifically this troop, I guess, because there's some that care about power also. So like it's not even like the most amazing evasion troop, but it is an evasion troop and it has upside when it comes into play. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's a middling to middle high, not like an upper tier common, but it is like middling high. It's a decent flyer. It will do work for you. I mean, that's all you got, or that's all you need. Also, you could potentially verdict it and have it be a 4/3. Now there's a card. Anyways, Lyvance Skylancers. This is a sweet card. It's a 5-cost 4/4 flyer, which is pretty good stats. It's uncommon, and it deploys, it illuminates too, which is a rider for a kind of mediocre-ish flyer, and that is a good rider on a mediocre-ish flyer. So you're gonna want this card. I think it's very fine. It like worst case scenario, it makes 2 chump blockers for you on the ground, and it's a 5-cost 4/4. That's already a good card. Like, better than that in a like more medium case scenario for an Illuminate deck, it is a flyer that could just like make 2 more Candlekin so you can buff them up even more, or even just like buff up all your Candlekin by 2, which is also great. You're gonna pick this a lot. This is a fine uncommon. Yeah, 6 power for 5, where 4 of it is flying. Like 6/6 in stats for 5. It's a fine card. Yeah. Next up is Narrow Escape. We've talked about this before. It is like Replicator's Gambit, except much worse. Like the payoff for it is much worse than Replicator's Gambit. And no, well, I guess this is quick. So this is like quick, and the payoff is worse than Replicator's Gambit, which is like, I guess, whatevs. It draws a card and it like dodges removal. If you specifically have Narrow Escape make it so you dodge removal and you put back like a good troop that gets invincible, that's the best that you can get out of it. But like, it's not great. It's really not a great card. It dodges. It helps a card dodge removal and then draw a card. It is best used on troops, but you can actually use it on anything, including constants and whatnot. So yeah, remember that. Probably don't play this. This is probably not a high pick. I would pick it below a lot of the uncommons that we've seen so far too. Like Skylancers, I would pick over Narrow Escape. So yeah. That's about where Narrow Escape is. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. There's some value in having fun. This is not enough value for me. Inconstructed, I doubt that this sees play. It's honestly a worse Replicator's Gambit. And Replicator's Gambit, like, wasn't great all of the time either. It's all playing combo decks, and it wasn't even a strong combo usually. Next up we have Orchakero. Orchakero is a 2-cost 2/2 life drain at the end of each turn. If you gained life this turn, Fate Weave. Oh hey, this is a life gain payoff by letting us Fate Weave. It also has life drain, so it can actually just like get in there and Fate Weave. This card is pretty good. It's like Like, I wouldn't evaluate it that much higher than a 2-cost 2/2 Life Drain. Which, you know, isn't the most exciting card, but it's like a fine 2-drop. And it is slightly better than that because it has the trigger. Like, yeah, I mean, it's sweet. It's a spirit, which means it has spirit synergies. And, yeah, like sure, with Papa Goot, you get the Fate Weave each turn, but then it's just like an Orcha Naya? But, like, that's not even crazy good. It's, like, good. I know my chat is, like Craigasming all over this card, being, like, great in Goot, but it's fine in Goot. It's not insane or anything. Like, honestly, it's just like an Orcha Naya and Goot. Orcha Naya was okay. It's not insane or anything. So, there you go. Actually, it might be slightly better than Orcha Naya. Because Orcha Naya has to attack and block. It's above average. If you're not in Goot, it's just a 2/2 Life Drain that's, like, sometimes gonna get, like, 0.1 cards of value or whatever. And if... Yeah, that's about it. I don't know if this sees any play in Constructed. It probably doesn't. I don't even think my Diamond Wild Good Stuff would play it. And, like, this ends up Fate Weaving extra, which does help my deck. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe in Rock. The problem is, in Goot, you get to condition your draws at the end of each turn, right? So, like you only get to condition your draws for next turn. And if they have, like, mill, like if they have a card that just mills you one every turn, you get to condition what you're milling. That's it. That's not, like, a good thing, right? And, like, mill is in this set, so I don't know. I don't think... I think it's a bit weaker than what most people are thinking, which is an issue. I think it's overrated, is what I'm saying. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not that good. It's fine. Next up is Overwhelming Guilt. Destroy target exhausted troop verdict. So this is not Strangle, the other one. Whatever. Assassinate. It's Assassinate plus Verdict. To use a magic card. It's Assassinate plus you get the Verdict. It's fine. It'll kill anything that... Oh, Butcher. That's the card. It's Butcher for one more, and it gets to Verdict. I think it's fine. Would I pay one resource to Verdict? Probably. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine card. There are cards that win the game without exhausting ever. Notably, there's, like, Steadfast cards or cards that just have effects that will win you the game, and, like, this won't be good against that, but, like, you play Butcher already. Like, Butcher's a fine card, and this is, in Limited, probably slightly better than Butcher, honestly, because of the Verdict. Like, you would pay an extra resource to Verdict, I think, on your existing card. So yeah, I think this is better than Butcher. In Constructed, you're not going to play this. Next up, we have Polar Ferret. Yeah, Ruvault is saying that it depends on how good Verdict is, but, like I've thought it through, and I think Verdict is 0.3 of a card. So, like, I'd rather play an extra resource for 0.3 of a card. That's fine. Alright, Polar Ferret. All of you told me that this card is insane. I think it's very good. It's obviously really bad if people play, like, hard removal. There's not a ton of hard removal that gets this. And he said the worst case scenario is it essentially unsummons or it like resets the troop so it can't attack. So it's like kind of close to an unsummon, which is fair. Like, if you don't void something with a deploy ability, like, this is just gonna reset their troop and they'll have to attack. Or they won't be able to attack. Especially if the format is about aggression. If the format isn't, then this is worse. I also don't think you're gonna frost form this ever. Like, it is a 6-cost 4/6 that you are very rarely going to frost form. Like, the times that you frost form this are gonna be when you probably already have, like, a reversion effect to revert it, or if your opponent is, like, pressuring you hard enough, or if you're just gonna, like, win by voiding a card, right? Those are the times where this is like that. Also note that it voids any opposing card, including Constants, which is pretty sweet. It is a top tier uncommon, I think. But if the format is too fast, obviously you can't play this. I don't think the format will ever be that fast. For Constructed, I don't see it seeing any play except in Rock. It might be an okay Rock card. It might not. I don't know. People play Chomp Knight. It's like weird to me that people play Chomp Knight. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Priestess of the Pure Flame. Deploy another target troop you control gets momentum 1. When this attacks, trigger each troop you control's momentum. Hey, look! It's a card that, like, makes momentum a passable effect. Okay. That's it. It's like your real momentum, real payoff thing. It's fine. I don't think it's insane or anything. It's a fine rare. If you're playing the champion that, like, gives momentum to a troop, this becomes much better, right? Like, the champion that gives momentum 1 to a troop, then this becomes much better. A lot of people are saying that this is too expensive. I think this effect is properly costed. If it's cheaper, it's too strong, and if it's, if it's cheaper, this card itself is too strong. And it has to, like, be nerfed on stats to the point that you might not even want it anymore. I think this is the proper level of payoff that you want for your momentum deck. You play the momentum champion, you momentum this up, you attack, you get momentum 2. At end of turn, you lose the momentum 1, and it stays as momentum 2, I think. Or you lose, like, 1 off of your momentum, I think. And then this will stay as a momentum 1, that when it attacks, you trigger your momentum. That's a fine flyer. It triggers all your other momentums. It makes your other momentum troops, like, really strong. In fact, ticks up the momentums even if you're not attacking with them. You can block with them, too. This card is really reasonable, I think, at its cost. I think it is exactly where it needs to be priced to be a rare for the momentum deck. I think I will pick this pretty highly and play momentum decks exclusively because this card is in it. Because I do not like momentum decks. Next up we have... Oh. As a note, I'm not going to play this in Constructed. Too vulnerable, doesn't have a real effect. Next up we have Pure Flame Protector, momentum 1. When another troop enters play under your control, it gets momentum equal to this troop's momentum. If you start with this early, and... yeah, if you start with this early, you probably win the game if it doesn't get removed. If you don't start with this early, then... it's a 3-cost 2/2. That's not great. Unlike other momentum cards, this actively will probably win you the game if you turn 3 this. The other momentum cards might win you the game if you turn 3 them. But this one will just win you the game if you turn 3 this. And, like, continue playing a game of Hex. If you, like, stop playing a game of Hex, like you just shard screw or whatever, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that didn't work out for you. But if you continue to play a game of Hex while playing this on turn 3, this is going to win you the game. In Constructed, people have said that this might be a thing that they want to be doing because of how much, like, bonus it gives to going wide. I think that is a reasonable thing. I don't think it's great, but it's fine. This might actually be an okay-ish chase legend. This is definitely a lot better than most of the legends that we've talked about so far. So yeah, that's how I feel about this card. No bad. Alright. 32-beat says that this is bad. I don't know, honestly, but if I'm looking at the upside to this, that's fine. Unless 32-beat is talking about my description of Priestess of Pure Flame. Who said it's fine and constructed? I have no clue. Anyways, Righteous Exorcist, it's a 3-cost 2/2 life drain. When you Fate Weave, this permanently gets +1/+1. So this is a strong Fate Weave payoff and is a combo with Orchakero. Holy crap. This is so good. This troop is actually like really good. It is a 3-cost troop, which is kind of awkward because I think Verdict, or I don't know, there's like sack effects that affect like 3-cost troops or whatever, but this troop is just good. Like, if you Fate Weave twice, this troop is insane. If you Fate Weave once, this troop is fine. If you don't Fate Weave a single time, you shouldn't be playing this troop. Holy crap. I mean, there is less Fate Weave going around. Don't get me wrong. That is an issue. But God, this card is good. I would take it. This is a high pick uncommon for me until I learn that there's no Fate Weave in the set, and I feel really bad. Then this is a low pick uncommon for me. Until then, pick it highly. Be happy. In Constructed, nope. No. In Rock, probably not. No. You have better things to be doing. Righteous Whackshot. I don't like this card. Who would have guessed? It has, it's a 1-cost 0/1 with Momentum 1. When it deals combat damage to an opposing champion, another random troop you control gets Momentum 1. So, 1, you don't get to choose who gets Momentum 1. 2, you need to play this on turn 1 for it to even be good. 3, you need to hit your land drops for it to even be good. 4, it doesn't even, like, give them the momentum that you already have. It gives them Momentum 1, which is just, like, whatever. This isn't a good rare. If you top deck this late game, it's actually just a 1-cost 0/1, and you don't want to be playing that. So yeah, don't play Whackshot. It might be like slightly valuable. I doubt that this gets there in Constructed. See, Ruval is like, he thinks it's okay because he hasn't seen many turn 1 drops. He likes early plays. The problem is 1-drops are bad. Like, really bad. The problem is, like, you usually don't need 1-drops to keep up with your opponent. And 1-drops are bad top decks. And they become bad top decks a lot earlier than 2-drops do. Like a 2-drop becomes a bad top deck on, like, turn 7. A 1-drop becomes a bad top deck on, like, turn 4. 32-beat thinks it's way better in Constructed. I also agree that it's way better in Constructed. In a deck where your goal is to never have to be top decking, this card is great. But the problem is, in Limited, 100% of the time, at one point in a Limited game, you will be top decking. And I don't want this when I'm top decking. So yeah, that's why I don't like Righteous Whackshot in Limited. In Constructed, it's probably better. I still don't take it very high. I don't think it'll be worth that much either, which is not great. Runic Justice. Hey, look, this is the Verdict card that is Runic. I don't like paying 2 for 0.6 of a card, since each Verdict is 0.4 of a card. I don't know. If Verdict ends up getting there, this is maybe like an okay card. Oh, 32-beat says it reminds me of a harder to block Quash Ridge. But like the Righteous Whackshot. But like Quash Ridge just gave the power to like another troop. Like Quash Ridge Tusker was much better at like buffing your ally troops and then like dying in a blaze of fire than than Whack Shot is at pumping your ally troops. Like, Whack Shot just, like, gives them momentum 1. Like, that's not great. Like, Whack Shot is a much better 1-cost Rage 1 than Quash Ridge is. But the problem is that, like, Quash Ridge has that, like, other benefit to it. And that's why I like Whack Shot less than Quash Ridge. Yeah, Runic Justice, if Verdict is good, this will be a lot better. It's a common, so I think it's worse than Illuminate 1. So yeah, I don't know about Constructed. Probably not. Next. Seamstress of Valina. Oh my god, this is my dream. Oh my god, this card is so good. It essentially says, seek fortune almost always, so you keep on drawing cards. 4 cost, 3/4 flight. Oh my god. This is a constructed, like, player. Like, this is a chase legend, I think. I'm so excited about this card for constructed. In limited, it's fine. It's value no matter what you Fate Weave. Like, you might even just, like, Fate Weave for resources just to thin the resources out of your deck. Honestly. 32 beat says that this won't get there in constructed. Whatever. I'm gonna try. It'll be sweet. It'll be great with what are they called? The leprechauns. That's how I feel. I'm pretty sure in limited you're gonna take this always. It's a 4-cost 3/4 flyer. Like, that's already a good limited card, and then it has, like, upside beyond that. All right. Honestly, I don't think there's, like, much to be said about this. Like, it isn't a, like, effect that kind of requires a lot of thinking through. And yeah. Letrafail thinks that it's not worth it to seek fortune. The thing is, like making your card cost 1 less isn't that exciting in limited. In constructed, the reason why I want it to draw a card when I seek fortune is that I'm going to be playing a landfallish deck, and that's sweet. In limited, the -1 isn't impressive at all, so you would rather get the resource right away. Like, all the time. You would rather seek fortune to get the resource. And there's also cards that, like, Fate Weave and then draw cards, and then you just get to draw more cards off of your Fate Weave draw land, right? Like, turning your guidances into Heart's Whispers is strong. That's why I like Seamstress of Valina. Anyways. Enough about... Oh, and then turning your, like, random Fate Weaves into guidances by seeking a resource is also strong. Like, it sucks that you don't get to, like, get non-resources, but that's fine. You get value. Eventually, you're going to run out of resources, too. And then, like, when you run out of resources, this becomes Seek Fortune. Nothing changes about your deck because you don't have resources. Draw a card. Alright, Skylands Captain. This is a strong momentum card, exclusively because it's a flight 2/1 for 3, which I already want to play. And then it has, when it deals combat damage to an opposing champion, Illuminate 1. This is probably a bomb in limited. It might see play in constructed, I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired, to be perfectly honest, to anyone who's listening to this on YouTube or whatever. Like... I don't know. I'm getting kind of tired. It's kind of hard to like keep on discussing this. So I'm gonna take a break after we finish Diamond. Skylands Captain is really good. The Illuminate is strong as an incidental effect. I would play this without momentum. Yeah, I mean, without momentum, it's probably not a rare. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a bomb rare and limited. In constructed, I don't think it quite gets there, but it is kind of sweet to think about. I think you have better 3-drops to be playing if you want to illuminate anyways. Like, Scion of Lyvanth and stuff. So yeah. Next up is Snowpuffin. Snowpuffin is a 3-cost 1/4 that you can Frost Form, and if you Fate Weave, it gets +1/+1 and Steadfast. Not a huge fan of this. I don't really like 3-cost 1/4 flyers. Though I could understand if that were like a fine thing to play. And when you Fate Weave, this gets +1/+1 and Steadfast, so it can actually like poke in for like 2. Which is like a fine effect. It's just like not remotely exciting to me. I don't know. It's a common. Would I rather play this or the spider that had Fate Weave and Stun? I think I'd rather play the spider that had Fate Weave and Stun too. Like obviously they're part of different sets and this is a different environment, but like, yeah, I think I'd rather have that than this. And that makes me like not that excited to play this because I didn't like that spider a ton. Like I thought it was good, but it wasn't like a top tier common pick for me, and this is less than that, so I suspect I will be less excited about this. In constructed, nope. Yeah. Sunlit Sentence. I've talked about this a lot on stream before. Destroying each attacking troop and then double verdicting, which is basically destroy each attacking troop, get like a minor amount of value, is a pretty strong effect. There's a current thing in Magic right now that people are playing something like this, and it even has like a downside on it. It like costs 4, but it like gives your opponent things when it happens, like for each creature destroyed or whatever. So like, and that sees play because it is medium hard for like people to play around that in what is the current constructed environment, because it is very hard to rebuild a board, and it's very hard for decks to like poke in one card at a time. If this is a format where it is very hard to poke in one card at a time, this is going to be a great card, and where it's very hard to rebuild after getting your board wiped. Yeah. Djo says he doesn't like one-sided board wipes. The issue with this is like easy to play around. If your opponent's going to hold up 5 resources, like you know that they're going to have this, so you can play around it. 32-beat says that this is bad. Yeah, like costing 5 is an issue. If there's a lot of quick-based like effects though, you could potentially play a control deck with this. And also the deck in constructed that plays this most of all, this type of effect, had an inevitable like win condition that like straight up just won the game after a few turns. So it was, you were put on a very high pressure situation where you have to kill them very quickly. And if there isn't a thing like that, then like this gets a lot worse. I think it's fine. In limited, it's gonna be a blowout. People aren't gonna play around this initially. Even later, people might not play around this. The only issue is that in limited, like, people might just not be able to attack into you, and then it will be bad. But, like, destroy a troop verdict for 5 isn't the worst. Like, just think of it that way. Like it's not rare value, but it is fine. In constructed, again, it really depends on the format. I think a lot of people are undervaluing it, including 32-beat. But it remains to be seen what the format looks like. So I'm not gonna like pass judgment on it in constructed. What's next? Sunrise Spectre. Sunrise Spectre is when you verdict, this gets +1/+1 and life drain this turn. It is a 1-cost 1/1 flight. This is not a good card. This is a 1-drop. You shouldn't be playing 1-drops. It's got like flight, so it's got like evasion, and maybe it'll like poke in kind of well, but the problem is like I'm gonna be playing like Lux Guards, right? If my opponent plays like Sunrise Specters and I play Lux Guards and they can't verdict me consistently every turn, then I'm gonna just trade for their Sunrise Spectre, or not trade, like eat their Sunrise Spectre one turn, right? Or their Sunrise Spectre is gonna be like a 1/1 essentially versus my Lux Guards, which isn't even good. And that's saying that I'm playing Lux Guards, right? I could be playing other flight troops, like 3x flights and stuff like that, where this is just utterly atrocious. I think there's enough flight in Hex that this, like, doesn't get there. There's also, like, a really good wild, like, Gladiator Skyguard troop, I think. Maybe it's not good, but it's, like, existing in the format. So I think this is a really bad card. I think that people should pick it kind of low. Like, obviously, there's a ton of upside in giving it +1/+1 in life drain for a turn, but, like, unless you get the Spirit payoff cards, which are also uncommons, I don't think you're gonna want to be playing this that much. In Constructed, I think it's even worse. But what do I know? Maybe there's, like, an aggro Verdict deck somehow, and this will be good in that. Threads of Life. Threads of Life is sweet! It is reanimate a constant or troop with cost 4 or less from your crypt. Fate Weave for 3. So, like, if you reanimate a 3 cost or 4 cost card, this is fine. And this is only uncommon. It's obviously not a rare. Like, and you get the Fate Weave. This is so good. It's going to be great to bring back, like, some of your dumber deploy effect cards. Like, if you bring back an Exalted Commander and then Fate Weave, this is insane. If you bring back the 3-cost 2/2 life drain that when you Fate Weave it gets +1/+1, that's insane. You bring it back and you get a Fate Weave, which means your guy gets bigger too. This card promises to be great. I love this card. I think I will overvalue it very early on in Limited. In Constructed, maybe there's some, like, weird cheesy thing that you could be doing with it. I don't honestly know, but I'm sure Constructed minds better than me will be able to do that. In Rock specifically, this might be sweet for grabbing back Iron Maws, but I don't know if that's, like, a sweet thing to do or anything. So, yeah. TBD. We'll figure it out. Wings of Wax. Constant, deploy Illuminate. This has a good deploy effect. It costs a lot to keep on redeploying it with your Dawn Charger if you want Dawn Charger synergy. This also has a good effect on the board. It gives all of your elementals flight. This includes Candlekin and Frost Forms. Right? Like, if you Frost Form anything and just make it into a flight, that's insane. Like, you could play the Arctic Grizzly, the 5-cost 3/5 with Frostform 3, right? Like, that's gross. Like, this is insane for any deck playing Elementals. And I think getting this, you get heavily swayed into playing Frostforms and Candlekin. People are saying that it's gross for Candlekin. I think it's gross for any kind of Elementals. Like, even just Frost Forming a bunch is gonna be ultra gross. Like, you just get so much value giving all your troops flight. So yeah, I think it's great. It's really strong. Obviously, prepare to get plummeted at quick speed by opposing Aura Eaters. Like, all your troops will lose flying, but outside of that, yeah, it's gonna be a sweet card. Wings of Wax, or no, we just said that. In Constructed, I don't think this gets there. 3 is too much for this kind of effect. I don't know if I would even play this in the Candlekin deck in Constructed. Like, maybe out of the sideboard, maybe. I don't know about Rock either. Maybe in Rock. If someone can make, like, an Illuminate deck in Rock, I suspect that this would be pretty good. Winter's Grasp. This is great removal. Void target troop with 3 attack or less. Wow, that's, like, a lot of troops. This is real cheap. It's also Void, which means it even, like, messes with Deathcry. So yeah, this is strong. This is really strong removal. I don't know what else to say. It might actually be able to play this in constructed, maybe. Like, it's quick. It's quick. It's removal for, like, a bunch of different kinds of troops. Like, that's disgusting. This is a disgusting card. As a note, because of, like, Gladiator and stuff, like, you might want to be doing this on your turn anyways. Litra Fail says that it's nice anti-aggro. I don't think it's nice anti-aggro. I think I play this in my aggro decks. This is like a Strangle, like 32-beat says. Like, I play this in all my decks. I don't think it's an anti-aggro card. I'm gonna play this in my aggro deck and kill you because you don't have blockers. Because I have this card, right? Like, I think that is a reasonable place to be in as well. This is just strong removal, and it's common. So, like, great. Take these. This is like a top tier common. You would take this over some of the worst uncommons and the worst rares. And it's single threshold. You can even splash this. Obviously, it's not going to hit everything. Like, there are cards like Blightbark Burster that you're not going to hit, or like other whatever kind of fatty cards. And cards that like eventually get big. If they get big enough, this isn't going to hit them anymore. But yeah, this is a good card. Wrath of Elements. This is quick removal for your sweet Candlekin or otherwise Elementals deck. It's 1 cost, quick action, void target card with cost less than or equal to the number of Elementals you control. I don't know what else to say. Is this why they nerfed, like, Merry Butterfly to be 4 cost? So that your Wrath of Elements could actually kill it? Is that why Merry Butterflies don't cost 5 anymore for some reason? Because I know they said that, and I don't understand why. This could even see constructed play in, like, the Candlekin deck, but that's about it. I don't think any other, like, it's a sweet removal card in Candlekin. In Limited, it's probably great in Candlekin, or even if you just Frostform a lot. And yeah, like, I don't know. Alright, Great Ook House informs me that it's because of the +1 cost